This is breaking news from KSL.
Welcome back in. We've got breaking news into the newsroom right now. We understand a shooting has happened on the campus of Utah Valley University.
Yeah, information just coming into the KSL newsroom. The police alert saying that a single shot was fired toward a visiting speaker. Police are investigating now. They do have a suspect in custody. We can tell you political analyst Charlie Kirk was there speaking today. We have a witness joining us on the phone. This is Taylor Birmingham from the campus of UVU. Taylor was there as the shot was fired. Taylor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Tell us what you saw, what you experienced today.
It was just shortly after he had started his second speech. Everything was going great. Everyone was, getting along and happy and everything. And then we just heard one shot. It didn't sound like it was a very high caliber. It sounded like a smaller one. But my wife immediately fell, but I saw him, and he definitely got shot. It looked like roughly in between his neck and like his collarbone area or somewhere in the neck.
Taylor,
what it looked like, but there was a lot of blood.
Taylor, can you set up the scene for us?
Your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We can now confirm Charlie Kirk was the individual shot on UVU campus. It was a highly promoted speech that was scheduled for this morning. Charlie Kirk, of course, an American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. You can see now from this UDOT camera the congestion of traffic as people obviously try to leave the area. It cleared pretty quickly, obviously, after that happened, but now cars and vehicles backed up a little bit on University Parkway as people try to leave that scene.
Yeah, this was a highly Utah Valley University campus there. And just to update you with the latest information that we've received, the AP reporting that Charlie Kirk is in a hospital in critical condition at this time.
The AP also reporting a few more details at the moment of impact. They described Charlie Kirk reaching up to grab his neck, right hand grabbing left side of the neck. There's quite a bit of blood. People describe it as very traumatic. He slumped to the floor, recoiled and slumped to the floor, and his security detail immediately assumed this scene. We have Jody Reynosa live on the campus of UVU. Jody, what can you tell us from where you're at?
Let me show you what I'm seeing here. People keep mentioning the traffic as students, faculty, people try to get out and off of campus. But right down here, you can see just the line, the very long line of traffic. And then with people trying to get out of, this exit area, it's just taking them a very long time. Some tense moments in the aftermath of this horrific shooting. Now, I'm here on campus just outside of the Wolverine services, and I also have, there's probably about approximately 50,000 students that attend UVU, and I'm here with Marta Villa. She's a third-year student, and she wasn't there at the event, but she was in class, and still some very tense moments. Marta Villa, tell me, what was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was terrifying. None of us knew what was going on. I was just in class. Someone heard a stampede of people running down the hallway. They checked it out, and immediately they lock the doors, just go in. There's been a shooting.
How were you feeling in those moments?
I think we were all terrified. I mean, yeah, I was very terrified. I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted more information.
Now, there are people who have talked about, I wish there were metal detectors and, maybe some more safety measures going on. One thing that terrified you were telling me earlier, is that the doors wouldn't lock. So tell me about that experience.
Yeah, we tried to lock the doors, but we were having issues with that. So the boys in the class, the men in our class, just were guarding the doors.
So they barricaded themselves across the door, basically, to help people?
Yeah, they were just standing by the doors just to make sure no one came in.
You hear about all these things happening across the nation, and folks here in Utah, they don't think it's going to happen here in Orem, Orem-Provo area. What are your thoughts on that? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
No, I have not experienced anything like that, and I think no one would have thought this was going to happen, but unfortunately it did.
As you've talked to other classmates or other people in your cohort here at UVU, what have they talked about, and what are you kind of maybe reassuring them about?
I haven't talked to anyone really except my family, and they're just asking me what's going on, if I'm okay, and I think everyone is just wondering if he's okay and if the shooter was detained, which I found out he was, and so that was good news.
Any fear to come back on campus?
No, I think we'll we have this under control, and I think our police are doing a good job of detaining and making sure everything's under control here.
Thank you so much, Marta. So as Marta was saying, you know, there's a heavy police presence here, armed. You can see their rifles out. A lot of them have been in unmarked vehicles. So there is a, you know, heavy law enforcement presence because they want to assure that, you know, everybody's going to stay safe. Nothing like this happens again today or in the future. And so you've heard it from Marta, her experience, and how nerve-wracking to have the doors in your classroom not lock. So you can, you know, we'll be having more information unfold as we get more details, but I'll send it back to you.
Jody Reynoso reporting live for us from Utah Valley University. Appreciate the update there. Let's go ahead and check back in with Daniel. And again, Charlie Kirk reportedly shot in the neck while visiting UVU during his Prove Me Wrong tour. We understand he is in critical condition. We are checking in with our news specialist that we have out there on campus. Let's go ahead and check in with Jody Reynoso right now. You are in one of the parking lots near where this event was taking place and had a chance to talk to some folks who were there and witnessed this.
That is correct. In fact, we are still seeing such heavy traffic, as everybody has mentioned before. Here is an egress right here. Pretty much every artery going in and out of campus is just packed. Because right here it looks like, oh, maybe there's a lull in traffic. Nope, you turn this way. I'm having Greg turn this way, and you have a whole line of traffic trying to exit. And parking lots right now, I'm seeing they're packed because of some students just wanting to kind of, you know, wait it out, see what's happening. Now, let me point you to the direction. Students are telling us that in between these buildings, so you see on the right side, there's like these little pyramids on the top of that roof, and then you see the building to the left. Well, the venue was right between those buildings. We're not able to go close at this point, but that just gives you a perspective as to where the venue was. And as you mentioned before, I do have two students. These are unique students in that they are high school students, okay? They are at Cedar Valley in their senior year. They were just here on campus, though, to take a test. So I'm here with Ryder Warner and Kylie Stoffer. Okay, Ryder, let's start with you. Tell us, like, what was going on, because you were there at the venue when it first happened.
Yes, ma'am. We were driving past it, so when we passed it, obviously you have all the news cameras, all the cameras pointing towards them, all the students rushing in to go and see what's going on. So we got to witness that, and you know, just a normal talk by Charlie Kirk. It was kind of cool to see Charlie Kirk here. You know, we watch him on TV a lot, watch his clips a lot on YouTube, whatnot. So it was cool to see that. I was in a rush for a test, so I didn't get to stop and see, but I did get to see the venue. It was super pretty. Whole student body was there. It was super pretty to see. Got here, and it seemed like everything was in chaos. They were super hesitant about letting us test.
Before we get to the test, though, I want to just take us back to where you were in the venue, because you said you actually witnessed the shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when they shot, it was, I wasn't actually there. I just saw it afterwards, the aftermath, the cops rushing up, the helicopters flying in. I just saw videos afterwards. It was probably 2 minutes after I left that I actually got to see what happened. So when
you got video from a student, another student, because you said it was very gruesome. What do you mean by that?
Yes, ma'am. The video I had showed the side camera of it, so it was him getting shot in the neck, and you can just see his neck go limp and all the blood come out, stuff like that. Super gruesome scene. I'm super glad I didn't see it in person.
Did you, at that moment, did you go to, you know, like, what is going on? I mean, what were you thinking at that point?
Definitely panic mode. As soon as I saw that, I knew, well, I'm here on campus. I don't think they're going to let us test, and sure enough, they didn't. Obviously, super panicked. I felt for him, you know, watching him for years. I definitely felt a little bit of sorrow for his family, too. But yeah, state of panic, and definitely just a little bit hurt for him and his family. He is a dad of 2 kids.
Now, it's unique being that you're in high school and you watch Charlie Kirk. You know, you said that your dad and grandpa watch him, and last night you were watching a YouTube video, is that right? And you didn't even know he was going to be here.
I didn't even know he was going to be here. He popped up on my For You page on TikTok, and I was just scrolling through, and I love watching his debates, especially as somebody who's big into English. I was watching his debates and learning how he argues, and I actually definitely base a lot of what he does into my own life, which is big for me, you know, being a student, especially being in an English class.
Now, does he ever talk about violence, or is it, you mentioned he was more Christian-based, and so this seems just out of the ordinary? It
is absolutely out of the ordinary. I can't believe that this even happened. He never talks about violence. You know, it's not something he's big into. He's just into the argumentative side. He loves getting other people's perspectives. He definitely can get under people's skin just because in like any argument, you know, you're arguing against somebody or against what they're saying. And I guess that just got to him, and somebody finally decided to act on it.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Ryder, we're going to be back with Kylie a little bit later, but we're going to throw it back to you.
Jody Reynosa reporting live from UVU. Again, if you are just joining us, breaking news, Charlie Kirk shot there on the UVU campus as part of his comeback tour.
Changes, we'll let you know.
Mike, we appreciate that update, and we've got another update. This is from NBC News. President Trump is posting on Truth Social just within the last few minutes. He has reported that Charlie Kirk has died. Again, we are just seeing this as we're reporting it. We got it from NBC News, but it is a report from President Trump on his Truth Social
and as
media.
That is just really some unsettling news, especially based on the accounts that we've been hearing from bystanders who were there, witnesses, students who had gone to this event just 2 hours ago, coinciding with what they saw. Reports also confirmed by AP that he was shot in the neck. Very traumatic for those people that we have been hearing from. And now to get a post from President Donald Trump stating, in fact, that 31-year-old Charlie Kirk has died.
We've been seeing all afternoon. It's a sobering update, because we've been seeing all afternoon leaders from the state, leaders from the political parties, even on the national level, sending their prayers, their concerns for Charlie Kirk and for Utah and the students and everybody who was involved in that. It's hard news to process on top of what everybody has already been through down there.
And we have been talking about UVU campus as well. Classes canceled today, campus closed. Police saying that everybody needs to clear out to make sure that the campus is secure and safe. We do have our reporters who have been there on scene, and they've been talking to some folks there about their perspective about what they saw there at that event. Let's go to Jody Reynosa now. Jody, what can you tell us?
Well, it's a very solemn feeling right now. As reporters talked about before, it's quieted down here. The parking lots are very thin. You don't see, the stream of cars trying to make that egress, out of campus. A lot quieter than before. But we did see those SWAT sheriff, big vehicles coming in here to make sure things are safe, or to see what they can do, figure out what they can do. We're hearing DPS helicopters overhead. I am with a high school senior from Cedar Valley High School. Kylie Stauffer joins me, and she was here. She wasn't expecting to go see Charlie Kirk. She was actually here to support Ryder, who I spoke with earlier. But we're going to go to her and see, what was that feeling like when you heard people coming out and screaming?
It's a very surreal, scary moment, not knowing what's going on with everybody around, and it's like, where are they? That's the scariest part, not knowing where they are and wondering if you guys are safe and if, everybody else is safe.
And you happen to be here to give support to Ryder, who was taking a test, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what is your family, your friends, is there a flurry of text messages coming in saying, are you okay?
So many text messages, are you okay? What's going on? I heard it on the news. A lot coming in.
What is your feeling, though? I mean, not too common that this happens around these parts.
No, it's very scary, especially it's very shock. I feel like we're all still in shock. Like, it just hasn't, set in all the way, because we're all just, hearing everything as it's coming in.
And now hearing that Charlie Kirk has passed from this horrific shooting, what are your feelings?
Super sad. I don't even know what to feel at this point, because it's all just happened so fast, and just very sad, feel bad for his family and everybody else.
Any of your actions or your path forward in your mind, has that kind of changed, or has the trajectory changed, being that this happened? I mean, you're in high school. I mean, are you thinking about, okay, what precautionary measures do I need to take if I decide to go to college around here?
Yeah, it really makes you realize that, the world is very real. We're not going to be protected much longer as we're in high school. Realizing that I need to look at things when I go to college like that and realize there's a world out there.
What are the drills like at Cedar Valley High School? for something like this?
I don't know, just locked down in our classrooms. We actually had one a few years back, so just kind of staying put until we get the okay.
So you had one at the school not too long ago, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, and then now this. What is your take on everything? If you could talk to the people who can't be here right now, maybe high school students across the country, what would you tell them?
That's a loaded question. Stay safe, I don't know, just really realize there's real things out there and you need to take those precautions and keep yourself out of those harmless situations if possible.
Thank you so much, Kylie. All right, so a very solemn, quiet scene here. People are still in shock. They are just, trying to grapple with what's going on. But I will send it back to you.
Reynosa reporting live for us from the UVU campus, talking to folks there.
And I think me and Ryan and a whole bunch of us are just fed up with it. We don't know. There's stuff that needs to happen. It needs to change. Opinions shouldn't lead to shootings. I'm sorry.
I think most people would probably agree with that.
Yes,
you
sir.
hope so, at least.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Henry.
course.
Ryan, let me talk to you a little bit, and you can stay here as well, Henry, if you'd like. Talk to me about where you were. Were you two together when this happened, or where were you standing?
No, I was about 50 feet away. I was in the thick of the crowd. I was working my way up to the stand to ask Charlie some questions. At that moment that the shot rang out, I look over and I see Charlie Kirk slump over for just a split second, and the crowd just pushes back. There's a huge stampede pushing back. People are jumping into the fountain to gain attention, tries to take credit for what's going on, and here he is jumping up right after the shot saying he did it. So that's really concerning to know, and I mean, hence the police presence that we see here today. It looks like they have not apprehended the actual shooter.
Did you see the shot fired?
I didn't. It did sound like it came from the right side of me, and I tried to look, but I was getting pushed back by the crowd. I was talking to a professor who works here, and he said with the view that...
At a vigil, 7 o'clock at the Capitol. Let's go to news specialist Jody Reynosa, who is on campus. Jody, what are you seeing from your vantage point?
So we've moved locations from the Wolverine Services, which is the testing center, and we're in between the Clark building and the Liberal Arts building. Right here is Fulton Library, and we are seeing that heavy police presence. In fact, we've had SWAT teams, guns in hand, just, trickling in and out of buildings. At one point, I saw in front of the Fulton Library about 20 SWAT members heading into the library. So it is all hands on deck for law enforcement. I did talk to a member of the SWAT team just briefly, and he said, our directive is basically to go through all of the buildings and make sure that either people are out, or if they can't get out, they're sheltered in place. He said, we're seeing teams from Salt Lake, from Orem, from Provo, the SWAT, as I mentioned before. Now, unfortunately, it was a date gone wrong for a student that I'm next to, Nick Ekman. He was so excited to see Charlie, and, he's so sad about this news. Tell us, what were you feeling? What were you seeing when all of this happened?
Yeah, honestly, the fact that it just happened all quickly, and when it just happened, everything just went crazy. People started running, screaming, shouting, yelling. People didn't know if it was them next. And honestly, for me, I was worried that, I came to see a guy, but this guy was a family man. He had kids. I loved what he was talking about and bringing up that dialogue. And so honestly, my whole purpose in being here and coming today was just to learn a little bit more. And the fact that it ended so quickly, so fast in that way, it scared me, because I felt like, what's going on? What does this mean? What does this mean for students like me? We can't engage in dialogue or even come to a place where we can engage in dialogue. Absolutely did not expect it, wasn't prepared for it mentally and emotionally, even physically, still shaking. A lot of people were shaky. Seeing stuff happen that way was insane.
The interesting thing is you came specifically to see him. You are not even a UVU student, you're a BYU senior, and you came here for him. So the fact that all of this unfolded the way it is, or way it did, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, he decided to come to UVU, and I really didn't care. My friends really didn't care. We wanted just to come see him, so we were willing to make the travel plans. I had a buddy saving a seat for me too, and I was super excited. And to see it end just like that, in that horrific fashion, so early in it, was unbelievable and completely uncalled for. Nothing like that should ever happen.
So you were trying to find a parking spot to go in, excited to see Charlie, and then what happened?
people started running out the doors. They started fleeing. People were yelling not only like obscenities, but they were yelling like run, 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 because they didn't know what was going on other than there was a bullet shot. And so I had people just running in front of me, running next to me, and I was super nervous. And I was like, I got to get out of here too.
So at the time you were on a date, and then you were coming over here trying to find parking. So that's like a date gone wrong, unfortunately.
Yes, yeah. I like I said, I was coming back from a lunch date, and I decided to come and running a little bit late. And as I was trying to find that parking spot, everybody just started running and mayhem caused. And my buddy had brought his little sister. And so that was one of the things I was concerned about was, is his little sister okay? Because I knew my buddy was okay, but I was worried that his sister wasn't okay. So I immediately was trying to call him, contact him, and make sure that his sister was okay.
Now, you've received an unofficial text, but with the echo chambers that, they're hearing all sorts of things. We're trying to sift things out still. Yeah. What was that text that you did get?
Yeah, so I actually just received a text from somebody that is claiming that Charlie Kirk's wife and maybe a kid or both of his kids were actually at the event today. I can't imagine a worse thing for a mother or a child to go through than to see a horrific tragedy like that happen.
What are your thoughts, though, going forward as far as Charlie Kirk and maybe following or even watching reruns? I mean, at this point, what is it?
This is a man who was an incredible father, an example to me on what it's like to be a father to kids and to be an incredible husband to a wife. He pushed that so hard, and for young men like me, all I wanted to be was just to be a great husband and to be a great potential father one day. He's gone now. That means his kids aren't going to be able to see a dad, and his wife is going to have to, live alone without a husband potentially. For me going forward, I want to see dialogue happen, but it cannot end like this. You can disagree with me, I can disagree with you, but I will never ever wish upon anyone their life to be ended with a bullet, any type of weapon in any way. You deserve to live, you have worth and value. I want to engage in dialogue with you, I want to understand you, but I will not disagree with you to the point where I don't believe you belong here on earth, unfortunately. For Charlie today, that's what happened.
Nick, thank you so much for your thoughts. I really appreciate it. Now, again, that was an unofficial text, but that is what Nick was hearing from a friend's text message. And along the same line of thought, a lot of students I've talked to say it's about respect. Even if you don't agree with somebody's political side that they're on as far as different sides of the aisle or whatever the topic is, it's about respect and having that dialogue without violence. I'll send it back to you.
Jody Reynosa, we appreciate that insight and that report there from the UVU campus. And I did want to mention, Deanie, that we are hearing
any kind of activity like this or a shooting like this or anything that where they have political people come here all the time. And so this is not unusual to be able to have different events, different things taking place on this campus, and then to have something like this, everybody is just in shock here. So again, we're hoping to be able to have this press conference here at 4 o'clock inside of this auditorium here, and hopefully be able to get some of those answers. But I'm being told from the FBI and also from the governor's office and also from the Department of Public Safety.
That happened in our backyard. That happened anywhere, but that it happened here in Utah. Let's go right now. Who have we got standing? Oh, we got Jody standing by. Jody, what have you been seeing in your area? We're expecting an update in about 10 minutes, and there has been some police action on campus.
There absolutely has been, Deanie. They just keep flooding in more teams of SWAT. They keep going into each building. Right now, I am here just outside of the Fulton Library, in between the Clark Building and the Liberal Arts Building. Now, just to give you a reference point, the Liberal Arts Building, the venue where the shooting took place, it was just beyond the Liberal Arts Building. Now, one of the things that Daniel Woodruff said totally reminds me of the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. His message last conference 6 months ago was to be a peacemaker. And so I think everybody is just very shaken here on campus and throughout the world, knowing that this is the message that he disseminates to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It again was his 101st birthday yesterday, and we're coming up on another conference in October, and I'm sure that line of thought is going to continue. Now, I'm here with 3 young men. They came to see Charlie Kirk, and the turn for the worst happened. I'm going to start with Nick. Nick actually was there in a middle row. Nick, tell us a little bit about what happened. Tell us your last name first.
Nick Call.
Tell us exactly what happened, what you saw.
So, I was just watching him speak, and he was talking about gang violence, and then I just hear like a loud pop. And I'm looking at him, and it doesn't even look real. I'm only 18 years old. I've never experienced a lot of death in my life, but this is like the first time I've ever seen somebody die, and my heart was just racing. It was so scary, and I was just appalled. Like, everybody just flopped to the floor, and I just tried to do what everybody else was doing. It was really scary.
Oh, I can't even imagine how scary that would be. Did you drop to the ground as well? Were you waiting to see, is there going to be another shooting? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I instantly just dropped to the floor. I didn't know if he was a mass shooter, like he was there to shoot everybody there. But when I was on the floor, there were some group of people at the top. They cheered when he got shot, and I was just appalled. I couldn't believe the lack of human life that some people have.
The lack of empathy there, that's appalling, I agree. Now, when you saw what you saw, did you have a certain direction that you heard the shot come from, or did you think it was just one shooter?
Yeah, so I was facing towards him, and it looked like the shot came from my left, so his right, and it just went through his neck and out the other side. It was gruesome.
Now that we're still trying to parse through information and we know that the shooter is at large, what are your thoughts now?
I hope they catch this guy. Nobody deserves to die, no matter what your political beliefs are. And I just think that if you do something like this, you deserve to go to jail for life.
Thank you for sharing. I'm going to move on now to Jack. We have two Jacks here, so I'm going to start with you, Jack. What's your last name?
Jack Stevenson.
And tell me, where were you? How did you hear about this? What are your thoughts now?
Yeah, so I was just kind of like on the middle left, farther away from Nick. But yeah, I just heard about it through social media, and I came to hear Charlie Kirk speak just because I thought it would be interesting and see what he had to say, and yeah, so that's why I came.
So now, in the aftermath, we're trying to piece things together. What are your thoughts now?
Just prayers for his family is honestly just what I've been thinking this whole time. Like Nick said, no one deserves to die, especially with a wife and 2 young kids at home and all of his extended family. I cannot even imagine what they're going through right now.
Thank you so much, Jack. All right, Jack, what's your last name?
Watkins.
Okay, you were there and you specifically came out to see Charlie, correct? Yeah. What were your thoughts at the time?
Well, so I was with Jack Stevenson here, and we were kind of just like, we should just go just like for fun, just to see. We don't really care like about Charlie Kirk, but like, you know what I mean? Just go, and just to be there, like, and like, it was good. Like, it was really fun, but just like, it's just crazy that chaos just happened so quickly. And I mean, that's kind of all. I don't know.
Do you have second thoughts about going to something like this in the future?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, a little. Like, it's pretty traumatizing, but I don't know. I mean, this doesn't really happen. Like, he's gone to colleges all over the world, and it's just crazy that it happened at my college. You know what I mean? Like, I just signed up to go here, just enrolled, and it's crazy to see that, like, the one thing that I go to, something has to happen, and it's just horrible, but I don't know.
Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts. So as we just heard, a traumatic experience for them and for, students here that they know, and the fact that this shooter is at large is very, very scary. So as we have information continue to unfold, we will let you know. I'll send it back to you.
It's so unsettling to hear from those college students. That gentleman,
I'm just 18 years old.
That student who had just signed up. Jody, thank you for that report.
Yeah. Okay, again, we are waiting for an update soon. Let's check in with now Jody Reynosa, who is outside campus. Jody, what are you seeing on your end?
So I'm in front of the Fulton building. I'm going to have Greg pan around. We see a team of law enforcement here. They definitely have weapons on. They are ready to go. It's been all hands on deck here today. Now, we've heard from dozens of people today, primarily students, as you know, and the feelings have been shock, appalled, angry, sad, worried, scared. Things that people just should not have to hear about. One of the things that I discovered today was a gentleman who he did something very honorable. He's a professor here at UVU, but he also used to be in law enforcement. He was at the time in a building far away from the venue and the scene where Charlie Kirk got shot. And he came running, he said, toward the scene because he said, I wanted to help students. I wanted to make sure that they were safe. So his law enforcement instincts kicked in. Now, I wasn't able to talk to him on camera. He said, I need to figure out UVU's protocol with the media first, so give me a call tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have him, and just kind of what was going through his mind at the time. The fact that somebody is running into danger, that's heroic to me. It sounds like press conference might be starting. We're going to pan over to the SWAT team right here, and I'm going to take it back to you in the studio.
Thank you for that update. Yes, we are standing by to get answers.
Charlie Kirk was taken here just after that shooting at UVU, though that hasn't been completely confirmed to us. There is a large police presence here. All of the doors are barricaded with police, and those sirens are flashing, those lights are flashing. Behind me here, we do have a small group of people who are here to show support for Charlie Kirk, who have shown up to show their love and support. They're here because they're so worried about this situation. They've told me that they have been longtime supporters of Charlie's, that they've looked at him.
What they had to witness today. Let's go now to Jody Reynosa,
who has been speaking with some of those young students there on campus. Jody?
Yes, students are still milling around. They're still trying to grapple with what's happened today. I don't have somebody with me, but I did just talk to police, and they did confirm that Governor Cox is here on campus. And so it's just a matter of, within minutes, even less than that the press conference is going to start. But, to go along with what Andrew Adams was saying, we're seeing the exact same thing here in this part of the parking lot. Law enforcement going around taking pictures of license plates, trying to find clues, trying to connect the dots with, who the shooter could be. And the fact that he's still at large, I think it's very unsettling for them as well. So I'll let it go back to you. You can take it from here.
Oh. All right, Jody Reynosa reporting live for us from the UVU campus. And Deanie,
we have live team coverage from Orem right now. We've been talking to dozens of students on UVU campus, police, politicians, and attendees there. What many people witnessed today is disturbing. Here is one first-hand account from
in the studio.
All right, Dan, thank you for the summary. And yes, this is still an active investigation, and they do have a tip line for people who may have information. Let's go now live to Jody Reynosa. Jody, you've been on the ground there all afternoon, talking to people, and we could hear the shock and the disbelief by what they've seen today.
You are absolutely right, Deanie. Shock, anger, fear, just being scared, not knowing what's next for them, feeling like I just need to get out of here. However, we have seen stragglers here, and we've seen law enforcement direct them, very strongly, you need to leave. This is an active investigation. Now, just to let you know where I'm at, I am just in front of the Fulton Library, and beyond that is the Liberal Arts Building. And then that's where the venue is, behind the Liberal Arts Building. Now, along with all of those feelings that the students are feeling, that, Utah County, Utah, the nation is feeling right now, there's some irony in this as well. I mean, if you take a look right back here behind me, you see Utah County official ballot box. The fact that this is one of the areas that people can submit, their vote for people, no matter what aisle, no matter what side of the aisle politically they are on, they can come here. And, I wasn't in the actual press conference, but I was listening to it through my earpiece. And UVU officials said, we want to make sure people know this is a place to share ideas. So this has been an awful day for them. It's being coined a dark and tragic day for the entire nation. The other aspect of irony is September is Constitutional Month. And I actually spoke with the Alpine Director of Communications, the Alpine School District, and they were celebrating a 9/11 project in Spanish Fork in Utah County, and, trying to just understand the depth of the civic history that we have, not only in Utah, but across the nation. And he said, when we heard this, we were absolutely shocked as well. Now, I asked him, are you going to have school tomorrow? tomorrow? Are you shutting it down because, you know, the shooter's at large? He said it's going to be business as usual. There's going to be school at Alpine School District. However, if we get any directives from law enforcement and things change, then we will move quickly as well. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Jody, thank you. Yeah, this has been a long day.
Before we start to get any answers, Jody Reynosa continuing our team coverage tonight at Utah Valley University. Got a chance to get some information from public leaders as well and what they had to say. Jody?
Mike, the feeling here on the campus, as you mentioned earlier, it's just eerily quiet. Now, yes, there's a heavy police presence, and I'm seeing maybe a couple students still straggling here, but, you know, law enforcement is saying you need to go, you need to leave. We are on lockdown, we are closed. This is an active investigation. Now, one of the things that is very interesting to me, as amid all of this tragedy that has reverberated around the globe through different age groups, the spectrum, you know, is wide as far as the impact. There is still some heroic behavior that has taken place. For instance, I spoke with a professor here earlier, and he has a background in law enforcement. He said, I was in a building very far away from where the venue happened, but my law enforcement instincts kicked in, and I ran towards the danger to help students and make sure that they were safe. Now, Utah Valley officials have also said, you know, we want to be known as a campus to share ideas peacefully. In fact, if you look just behind me, there is an official Utah County ballot box where people can cast their votes. The fact that this is an official location to cast a vote, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, then you have juxtaposition where somebody was tragically and fatally shot because of their opinions. Now, there was also some more heroic behavior. I spoke with a student who at the time was in class. She heard a stampede of students running down the hall saying, run. And then somebody looked out the classroom and said, well, what's going on? And she said, you know, there's an active shooter. You need to get out. First, what they did, though, they tried to do a lockdown in class. That's kind of protocol here at UVU for something like this. And she said that they, for some reason, could not lock the classroom door. So she said some very brave individuals in her class barricaded themselves against the door to ensure that there was not going to be anybody that came in, especially anybody that was going to cause danger to the class. So one of the things, speaking of danger, is accountability. And law enforcement across the board has said, we want this person, whoever it is, to be accountable. Take a listen to what they said earlier in the press conference.
To whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Some very strong words from Governor Cox there. So now, as we mentioned before, there's a vigil. There are people who are coming together. You know, they're mourning together. Students are grieving. Again, it's a very quiet, surreal atmosphere here at UVU in Orem, Utah. But, you know, it's been coined Happy Valley. And today, as we've heard officials say earlier, it's a dark and tragic day. A day that comes on the heels of September 11th, another dark and tragic day. Also, the fact that September is Constitutional Month. So all of this amid, you know, all of these things to celebrate as far as civic duty and civic responsibility and being able to feel that you can share your feelings politically, safely, without getting any type of backlash. And here we see there was something very tragic. Students I talked to earlier also said, we don't feel safe sharing our beliefs, sharing, you know, what side of the aisle we're on because of events like this. So even though it's quiet here, it is still a very active scene. I would encourage you not to come on campus unless law enforcement knows that you're supposed to be here. Otherwise, they will shoo you off anyway. So again, a tragic day, but there is heroic behavior that has gone on. It's very heartwarming. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, but as mentioned, the governor not pulling any punches when he spoke today. He was passionate, he was emotional, and he was very direct and to the point. Jody, thank you very much. We're going to continue this. Welcome back as we continue our team coverage here of the shooting of political activist Charlie Kirk. Our Jody Reynosa is live here on the campus of UVU right now. And Jody, you had the chance to speak with some political leaders and community members as well. What do they have to say?
Such a tragedy, being coined a political assassination. Right now, the scene is eerily quiet, but earlier, just chaos. We talked to students who were scared, they were shocked, they were appalled. One student actually says she was in class when she, heard a stampede of students just racing down the hallway. They had to barricade themselves in the classroom. Unfortunately, the door wasn't locking, but some brave souls barricaded the doors so nobody could come in. And also, this is something, as we've said before, that has reverberated around the world. In fact, we here on scene have seen people from the New York Post. He said he sat by, a CBS correspondent on the plane. So this has just really shook so many people around the nation, attracting attention here. Maybe not the attention we want here in Utah Valley, because as it's known as Happy Valley, this has not been a happy scene today at all. In fact, earlier, it was said in the press conference that we are endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights. But so many students I spoke with today didn't feel safe to even speak out or, express those rights, project those rights. Let me just take you over right here. This is an official Utah County ballot box. So right here, juxtaposition, this is a location where people can cast their votes, yet this tragedy happened. I'll send it back to you.
Jody Reynosa live for us this evening. Jody, thank you for that update. We continue our team coverage here.
It was scary because you don't know if it's real, if it's not, but you just have to go with your gut and get out of there. But it was scary. The adrenaline shot up through my body, and I had chills, and we were freaking out.
It's a very surreal, scary moment, not knowing what's going on with everybody around, and it's like, where are they?
It's estimated around 3,000 people were on campus in that Commons area at the time of the shooting.
Witnesses on the scene told us they saw Kirk get shot. And then on the video, you can watch everyone collectively duck, and then you can hear people start screaming.
I was kind of in disbelief for a second, and when everyone was running, and then, I just started looking at
I thought maybe it was a stunt. And then everybody fell to the ground. We all fell to the ground. I got pushed into some bushes. I stayed there.
You get chills and you kind of freeze, but you're like, I have to save my life.
There were students in buildings, many in class, when the crowd started screaming.
It was terrifying. None of us knew what was going on. I was just in class. Someone heard a stampede of people running down the hallway.
So I was in a room fairly close to where it happened, and then some people just ran in and yelled active shooter, so we all just got out.
Utah Valley University tonight is condemning this shooting. In a